Derivative Jill.
You're traveling through another dimension, a dimension not only of sight and sound, but of mind, a journey into a wondrous land whose boundaries are that of imagination. That's the signpost up ahead. Your next stop, the Twilight Zone.
That's my favorite part.
No, just hold on a second. That's not from the first season.
I'll explain that in a second. Hello and welcome to Indefinite Lunch in Infinite Combinations number 140, where we are exploring all of the Twilight Zone. Today we are taking a closer look at the episodes I Shot an Arrow into the Air and The Hitch-Hiker. And so the first one will imagines what might happen when we send men to space before we actually do in reality. And the second deals more with the soul and when someone is trying to help you on your journey. And I got a different opening theme this time. My copy of the Twilight Zone played that song, and so now I get to play it every time. So if I get to hear it, it's actually the second time it's played. It played the first time during Perchance to Dream, and that's when Scotty started singing the song, and we were like, no, that's not happening yet. But it did happen, and the explanation is here. This is one of several episodes from season 1 to have its opening title sequence plastered over the opening for season 2. This was done during the summer of 1961 in order to give the rerunning episodes of the season the updated look that the show had taken in the second season.
Oh my word.
Are you scandalized?
Yes, because my Blu-rays have the original opening, and we should do everything as originally broadcast.
Oh, I would love to do it as originally broadcast, but that's not what I have. And I like the song, and I don't mind.
Oh, but Stone Racket does.
Well, what are we going to do? We're going to flip the table and not do the game?
He's most upset.
Oh,
no!
you know what?
Now I'm referring to myself in the third person. Boy, I must be really mad. No, it's okay, Jill. Jill, it's your channel, and you do as you wish, and don't listen to the grumpy kitty.
Okay. Yeah, and I do. No, I had that feeling too. Like, what am I doing, man? Why am I watching this as it was re-rendered for television a year later? That's weird. But it's what I have. Maybe I'll switch to the Blu-rays at some point. But at this point, I got to hear the song and I wanted to hear it live and explain it. And speaking of, I want to welcome my panel, Scotty R37 and Stone Racket. Thank you too for being here today.
Well, thank you.
Yeah, thank you.
And so we're going to talk about I Shot an Arrow into the Air and The Hitch-Hiker. And also here joining us today is DJ Knight.
Hey, DJ.
DJ Knight's here. And he was here early. So we can... Oh, wait. I got to open the slides. I don't even have them open. I was just enjoying my coffee this morning.
I shot an arrow.
Enjoy a little more
I
of it.
did not shoot the deputy.
Oh, goodness.
What's wrong?
Oh, that's not how the song goes.
Yeah, I know.
That is how that's how it goes today.
Yeah. It's like I shot an arrow, but I didn't know where it landed. No, I don't.
Oh no, because they actually do it in the episode. I shot an arrow, where it landed, I do not know.
See, that's not how the poem goes exactly, but it works in the song.
Don't read too far into the poem, or it gives you this twist.
Oh no! Spoilers.
Yes. Oh my gosh, I was wrong.
Yeah. Yeah.
So let's get started because I think it's already going to be blown very early on, and that's okay. I shot an arrow into the air on January 15th, 1960. This episode was directed by Stuart Rosenberg. Is that right?
Stuart
Did I copy
Rosenberg,
that
yeah.
right?
Yeah,
The story by
he directed a lot of live TV. That's where I recognize his name.
Oh, good. That's
Mhm.
good news.
So he probably worked with Serling before this, though my book didn't detail that, and neither did Mark Scott Zerkrees. But I do
Mhm.
believe he did direct some live television with to a Serling script, but don't you know
It's
don't believe me. That's what I
Don't
speculate.
take
But
my word for it. Do your own research.
yeah,
The story by credit goes to Madeline Champion, with the teleplay by Rod Serling, and it has stock music by Leonard Rosenman. And
Rosen?
yeah, Rosen.
yeah, it's interesting. In my book, it says that Champion was a friend of Carol Serling, Rod Serling's wife, and they were over at the Serling residence having dinner, and that's where the idea was first broached, and Serling liked it, but he didn't buy it on the spot. That came later with contracts and whatnot. But yeah, Zerkre, I think, says that he quotes Serling as saying he bought it on the spot for, was it $500? I think is what it said. Is that correct?
Yes, that's correct. Why did he lie about that? Why would he have no?
Oh,
There's
it's
no
just
why would
it's
that's not
just it's just apocryphal kind of stuff, just on the
how
fly.
okay. Well, $500 in 1960 in any case is $5,421 today.
Yeah, it was there were no agents involved with the deal since it had been handled personally by Rod and John Champion, and the literary assignment was officially signed over to Cayuga on July 10th, 1959 for $750.
Good news.
Yeah.
And like DJ Knight says, the original broadcast date, I don't know if I said that, is
Yeah, you
it
did.
first aired January 15th. Okay.
Yeah, you
Since
had
you put
it.
it in the chat,
No,
I
it's
was wondering
right in the slide there.
well yeah. Okay, good. Just making sure. And
And
so then we have our cast.
mhm.
We have Corey, played by Dewey Martin. Colonel Donlin, played by Edward Binns. Pearson is played by Ted Otis. Brant is played by Leslie Barrett. And Langford is played by Harry Bartell. And then we have our opening narration.
See, this is the weirdest thing about, because I love going back to the Twilight Zone, or going to the Twilight Zone, to find these like classic actors, classic television and movie actors that are spotlighted in each episode. And in these two episodes, I knew nobody. So this was all brand new.
I knew nobody either. And this is one of the first time. This might be the first time we don't get anybody from Star Trek. I was looking.
I'm shocked, Scotty. I thought you knew Inger Stevens. I thought we talked about her before on another stream.
No, I don't think so.
Because when I mentioned The World of Flesh and the Devil, a film that she appeared in, you said, "Oh, that's a good movie." So I thought,
right.
Okay.
No, I forgot. Like for the longest time, I thought she was like the first 2 minutes of the episode. Anyway, we'll talk about Inger when we get to it.
When we get to Inger, yeah.
To the Hitch-Hiker, yeah.
Pardon me.
Yeah,
right.
that's right. That's the next episode.
Yeah,
that
excuse
is exactly me. You ended that the exact way that I was going to stop it. Good work. Slasher Fred says, I think that what makes I Shot an Arrow into such a very fantastic episode is its plot twist. Yes, this is true.
Yeah.
And so could you read for us the opening narration? Who wants to read the opening narration for this one? It's
I'll
in the
go first.
private. Okay, go for it.
Her name is the Arrow One. She represents 4.5 years of planning, preparations, and training, and 1,000 years of science and mathematics, and the projected dreams and hopes of not only a nation, but a world. She is the first manned aircraft into space. And this is the countdown, the last 5 seconds, before man shot an arrow into the air.
Yeah, it's interesting. DeForest Research was on Serling's case with this script. They objected to the word aircraft in
I
the
was going to say
opening narration, and they say that it's not, a spaceship is not referred to as an aircraft because there's no air in space.
Yeah.
But Serling ignored it. He just kept it in. It's like, she is the first manned spacecraft into space. He repeats the word space. Maybe he didn't like that. I don't know, but
that's true. Serling is the poet.
Yeah. And this is, again, I was not distracted by, oh, look who it is. So I was paying attention to a lot of the narration and the dialogue, and man, Serling had a way with his pen.
Oh yeah, most definitely. And this is another episode that has a Serling narration in the middle of the episode, or towards the end. Actually,
it's right before the climax. Yes, that's correct.
Yeah, that's right. It's right before the climax.
Run, Corey, you son of a bitch.
I didn't see any information on how the special effects were done for the rocket flying, but it looked really great considering it hasn't been done yet. So
yeah,
if they just
it's interesting that
just
they
a regular little rocket probably.
It's interesting that they went back to Death Valley, but they learned from filming The Lonely. They were better prepared. But this episode was filmed the first week of November 1959, and yeah, they kind of bent some union rules and said we're not going to take a half-hour lunch on location. We're going to go back to the hotel. You guys can lounge around the pool, and we'll have a 2-hour lunch. But you'll all be paid the same for the same amount of hours. So no worries there. So that's how they handled things.
And there was much rejoicing at being able to lounge by the pool during lunch instead of sweltering into nothing.
That's right.
And they also ate lighter meals. They ate salads, and I guess I'm sure they had lots more water too.
Oh yeah.
Well, it was 1959 as well. They probably had a couple of gins.
But it's interesting that not only are we back to Death Valley, but we have another character named Corey, except he's not a nice guy like in The Lonely.
No, he is not a nice guy at all. But before we get to Corey,
he's a no good Nick. Oh, spoilers.
Yeah. That's okay. That's okay. He is. He's not so good, but I have an answer for that. But before we get to that, I just wanted to point out again, we have those indicator lights from the energy lights from Forbidden Planet and the control
Yes,
room.
indeed. There's that panel again.
I like it.
It's the Krell laboratory.
Well, I guess Earthlings did get to have their technology after all.
Yeah, from the Krell. How did that happen, Jill? Oh, MGM Studios is the answer.
Good to see Swift -1 in the chat and Sigvaldison.
Oh, yes. Hello to Sigvaldison. What does he say? For the world is hollow and I have touched the sky. Seems to go well with this episode's title.
If you say so.
Good to see you.
Well, just the title, not necessarily companion pieces, but in terms of the I shot an arrow in the sky, for the world is hollow and I have touched the sky. I like it.
Oh, well, all right. We'll have a double feature, okay?
Well, again, I don't think that they correlate narratively, but yeah,
no.
Anytime I can see Natiri, I'm happy.
Yeah, it's all in the title. And hello there, Matt G.
Yeah,
Can,
Maggie. And so the
can you get?
scientists, they've lost the trajectory of the flight they sent to space. They can't find it.
They really messed up.
They lost contact, and the scientist Brandt, is that there was some interference. So I don't know. They just lost communication.
You might say that they are lost in space.
Yeah, as
Danger,
far as they
danger!
know.
Warning, warning! There's a sociopath in your crew. Oh, sorry.
Same plot.
Oh, mhm. Oh, that's true. That's true.
Oh, you malicious malcontent!
I shot an arrow into the air. It landed I know not where. A nursery rhyme of the age of space. And so, of course, the title of the episode comes from Henry Wadsworth Longfellow's The Arrow and the Song.
Yes.
I shot
Yes.
an
Henry
arrow.
Longsworth Longfellow, famous American poet that Edgar Allan Poe could not stand.
Huh.
Yeah, he just couldn't tolerate the epic poems of Longfellow. He said that a poem or a short story should be you should be able to read a poem or a short story in a half hour in one sitting, but Longfellow had these epic novel length poems. Not this particular one, but
oh, okay.
Evangeline and what's another one?
I'm not the Longfellow scholar.
Yeah,
No, but
boy.
it sounds like his last name is well earned.
Yeah, he's long-winded Longfellow.
Jill with the zingers.
Yeah.
I need somebody. We have sort of what I would identify as a captain's log, and I kind of want this read too. But it's too long.
From the Colonel Edward Binns.
Yes.
Yeah, there was a Captain Donlin in the Air Force, so Sterling had to change that. So that's one thing that DeForest Research came up with. They said, "Well, we'll make him Colonel, and then a different first name."
Oh, that's good. Okay, so that it's not identified with the real person.
Oh yeah,
that is fascinating to me in terms of when you're writing a character and you have to make sure that people are not named what you're naming your character.
Mm. So Colonel Donlin says, Colonel R.G. Donlin commanding, we have crash landed on what appears to be an uncharted asteroid. Cause of malfunction and ultimate crash unknown. There was an explosion. The electrical system went out. That's all any of us remember. Any of us being Flight Officers Corey and Pearson and Navigator Hudak, who has been seriously hurt, and myself. The rest of the crew dead. There is very little left of the aircraft. The radio is gone. The bulk of the supplies have been destroyed in the crash, and as of this moment, there is little certainty that we have been tracked and our whereabouts known. And then Corey, that guy, you said he was not so good. He says, what are you doing writing stuff down? And Colonel Donlin says, we're in bad shape, that's for sure, but we're still a crew, and as long as we are a crew, there'll be discipline and there'll be protocol.
That's right.
Yeah.
So this guy is way out of line, talking that way to his superior officer, and it's like, oh man, this guy's really got issues.
He does, and it would be out of place if it weren't explained, but it is vaguely explained right here when Colonel Donlin is talking to Pearson. He consults with Pearson, saying who was with Corey during the crash, and basically Colonel Donlin wants to know if Pearson knows what went wrong with Corey. And that tells me that Corey is not behaving within his normal character. Like certainly something with his attitude. I mean, something's going on with him that he's changed. Because someone like him who's behaving like he does during this episode would not have made it through the space program.
Oh yeah.
So, but they don't say exactly what happened to him. Like, did he hit his head, or did he have a panic episode, or what's going on? Why is he acting like a jerk?
Because the script demands it. Oh, sorry.
Well, yeah.
Yeah.
Like it's a thing where it's like, oh yeah, he has the space madness. Or
The
so
space
you think.
madness.
That's it. Space madness.
Yes. And of
Yes.
course, Donlin once again refers to the ship as an aircraft. And it's like, no, it's a spaceship.
It's a spaceship. It is a spaceship. So they're feeding Hudak water. And Corey's like, how much water is there? What are you doing feeding water to people who are dead? He's like, he's already written Hudak off as dead. And Colonel Donlin says, if the situation were reversed and it was you lying there, I'll give you odds you wouldn't want to be written off.
That's right.
Mm-hmm. If he dies, he dies, but nobody gets behind to push. If he's thirsty, we give him water. If he's hot, we move him into the shade. If he goes, we give him a prayer or two. I right away, I'd like this Colonel Donlin guy. He's really good.
Yeah, and these astronauts, unlike our astronauts in NASA, these astronauts brought guns with them.
Yeah. There's
And
a
I'm
lot
like-
of questions
I'm
I
like,
have in terms of the
yeah,
equipment
well,
that they bring.
did you guys know that Buzz Aldrin brought a .45 automatic with him to the moon? No.
Yeah,
Like,
well, down on the moon.
I don't
Yeah,
understand where they're going, why they would
Yeah.
need to bring
It's
what
like-
is the purpose of this mission? Why are you bringing a shovel?
Although I heard that the Russians did carry weapons like this in case this exact thing happens.
Oh, interesting.
And but and they even hint at it, and you don't even think about it, and they're like, oh well, this planet has conditions the same as Earth, and it looks like we're in the orbit of Earth, and
Yeah,
so
this-
but they still think they're on an asteroid.
Yeah, that's this is this is not science fiction. This is pure fantasy.
It is.
Another asteroid with an atmosphere. Okay.
Mhm. Yes. Well, but another asteroid with an atmosphere. Yeah, you're talking about the Lonely.
Yeah, the Lonely. Though it's that one that doesn't bother me a bit because that episode is just so incredible and one of my favorites. This one, not so much.
Well, and that's also part of it is that through this episode, I tried to get a bearing by the stars. It's like, you're not a very good astronaut.
Well, see, they talk about cloud cover at night.
Oh, right. It was
and I'm kind of like,
right.
I'm kind of like in a desert. Okay. But anyway, let's not dwell on that.
It's
the
wreck it. There was the clouds were too numerous. You couldn't see the stars, so they couldn't realize they were on Earth that way.
Same with Serling's script for Planet of the Apes. This cloud cover and a strange luminescence.
Mm-hmm.
It's like, okay.
But Serling likes the idea. He used it twice.
Yeah. And the ending, as Scotty hinted at when he was quoting Troy McClure from The Simpsons earlier,
Yes.
Serling,
also-
that is Serling's ending for Planet of the Apes. That's in his original script. So
Yes, and that's also what Slasher Fred said earlier too. He also got that.
Yep.
Good work.
You got it.
And
But yeah, the acting in this, it's that's the characters and the acting and the situation they're in is what drives this episode.
yeah, it's really great. They're on an epic journey. I mean, they're heading south to the mountains. They're trying to figure out how to survive in their new home. They don't know when or if
Yeah.
they're going to get any help anytime soon.
Yeah, it's a survival thing, which I always like that kind of a story.
Yeah, and so they're about to feed Hudak more water, but a fight ensues, and this time Corey's right. Hudak is dead, but Pearson lets Corey have it.
Yeah.
Pearson says, "You'll be happy to hear, Corey. He's not going to drink any more of your water."
Yeah, those gentlemen, they should have had gallon canteens.
Mhm.
Of course, you never know. It's like Scotty said. What was their mission? Where were they supposed to truly end up at? It's like
That's a good question.
it's
I
like
don't know where they were
it's like,
supposed to
huh?
go.
That's
Obviously, things went wrong, and everybody lost contact with all navigational communication and everything ever, and even lost, brain cells because
yeah,
we have no idea where they are.
yeah. They went through a strange vortex, Jill, that made them wind
Ooh,
up in this particular desert locale.
a vortex.
Yeah,
Okay.
in the Twilight Zone.
In the
So they
Twilight
were,
Zone, exactly.
so they were in space, and then they
Yeah, it's a
fell back.
Serling space vortex they went through, and everything went kerflooey. They couldn't be
Mhm.
tracked by the mission control, and they don't know where they are at all.
So maybe it was like one of those Jeff Bezos flights where you just go up to space for 5 minutes and then come back down.
What do you mean,
But
like
like 8 people need to do that?
parabolic flight,
Yeah.
like the first 2 Mercury missions?
Yes.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
So Pearson also says, for the record, Corey, there's just the 3 of us now, and the big problem's going to be to stay alive. I mean the 3 of us. But if I catch you, Flynn, filching just once more, just once, I'll kill you. So he's serious. He's meaning serious business, and he's
Yeah.
not gonna stand for that. Corey returns that feeling, and Colonel Donlin cuts them off here because they need to focus, and he decides they need to walk when it's cooler at nighttime. And I like when they're like, if there's a nighttime. Yeah, okay.
Is there air? You don't know.
I did kind of use that inflection, didn't I? I didn't mean to.
Yeah, a little bit.
Just rocks and hills.
Hills.
That's all there was. Corey says, I thought maybe I could get some kind of fix using the stars, but it's overcast.
In a desert.
And
Okay.
on top of this, Corey says Pearson went south and he went west, and they never met. Never, not once. And Colonel Donlin realizes that Corey has more water.
Yeah, that's a dead giveaway.
So he knows Corey stole Pearson's water. He filched.
Yeah, that's where he should make use of that gun on Corey.
That would have saved both. That would have saved both Pearson and Donlin if he had done that. You're right.
Well, not so sure about that at this point.
Yeah. Well, you said it. Corey decides he has to sit, rest, and rehydrate. He's like, nah.
No, you're going to take this shovel and you're going to dig. You're going to dig your own grave, Corey. Oh, sorry.
Oh, that's right. I skipped that part where they had to bury the rest of their crew. There were 4 crew members who died instantly, and then of course we lost Hudson, Hudak. I'm sorry.
Did you say Hudson?
Yeah, I did.
Are you sure it's not Hicks? No.
Yeah.
I'm sorry. He didn't have
He's
any
Hicks,
wine.
sir. I'm Hudson.
All he did was drink some water and die.
Poor guy.
Yeah. So what do I do in this episode? Nothing. You get a drink of water and you expire. Hey to Gavin Blackburn in the chat. Says, I Shot an Arrow is definitely my favorite of these two, but they are both good.
Yeah, they are.
And Penny's here.
Penny.
And Greek letters. Did someone say the Planet of the Babes?
Oh, right. And also watch
not
your
I said the cat.
Yeah, Watch Your X is also here. They messed up big time. Yeah.
I think he popped up earlier, and that's with the same message. Yeah, we're getting ahead there.
Ooh, yeah, Dark Hour, but that is the best line of today.
Yeah.
You got it. Yes, I did mean just the titles, and yes.
Oh yeah, we know. I just like to complain. I mean, yeah.
The term "damn dirty apes," and yes, hello, Penny. Great to see you here.
Penny.
From what I've researched, Soviets did carry a firearm as their landing craft were designed to land on the ground. So it was there for survival purposes.
Yeah, yep, you got that right.
And U.S. astronauts did not. But this is science fiction, and we haven't gone to space yet in this particular broadcast.
Yeah,
nobody knew whether or not we were going to carry guns or not yet.
Yeah, we landed in the ocean, but who predicted that earlier about landing in the ocean, coming back from a journey into space?
Tell me.
Jules Verne. Take off from Florida, come back, splash down the ocean.
Nice.
Yep.
Yeah, Jules Verne was extremely prescient.
Yes.
Greek letters Larson says, and you know why the Soviets won the space race? They armed their cosmonauts. Well, wait a minute.
Wait a minute.
We're not in. They didn't win the space. They did get to space first. They got Sputnik, but we got to the. We walked on the moon first. So, I guess it depends on.
Yeah, he's
that's an explosive comment there.
Greek letters is he's in an alternate reality.
He's in the For All Mankind alternate reality.
Right.
Where the Soviets won the space race.
Yeah.
Hey, it's always a space race if you can figure out how to go back to the moon and actually build a moon base. So let's see who builds the first moon base. According to For All Mankind, that's how you can advance the space.
Yeah, Jill, you mentioned Sputnik, and that made me go back to Stephen King, his Dance Macabre, or Macabre, I think is how you sometimes pronounce it. But in his writings, he talks about being at the screening of Earth versus the Flying Saucers, Ray Harryhausen movie, and they actually stopped the film to tell the audience at that screening that the Russians had successfully launched a satellite that's currently orbiting, and that was, of course, Sputnik.
Yeah, and I'm sure, that was definitely a big moment.
Yeah. So that's like Stephen knew exactly where he was. It's you interrupted my sci-fi movie to tell me about the Ruskies. No.
Well, it's still a kick in the pants for the U.S. to get going, and they
did. Yeah. And that, have you seen The Right Stuff? The film The Right Stuff?
I'm still See, I've seen all For All Mankind, and throughout watching that, every single live stream, everybody told me to watch. No matter what. At least every other live stream, they told me to watch this movie. I still haven't.
Yeah, it's an interesting movie because it is a satirical look in one level of the movie, but it also celebrates the men who went up into space, and the pilots.
I
before.
definitely want to see it.
Yeah, and so it makes fun of the the celebrity status of the astronauts and the kind of idolization of the astronauts and their kind of reaction to it, and how the press handled things, and Lyndon, LBJ, Lyndon Johnson, and it's a brilliant movie, but it also celebrates the men, and and their courage and their accomplishments. So it doesn't
And that's why
yeah.
the For All Mankind actually references it itself, and they even get a copy of the movie so the astronauts can watch it
Oh,
on 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 their
yeah.
missions. But I have to say hello. Speaking of celebrating people, to Booger 414.
Well, how do you celebrate, Jill?
Yeah, I thought you were going to push the button.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, push the button, Jill.
Mm-hmm. And Brogu's here too. Kapla.
Hey,
Kapla to Brogu.
Roku.
Kapla.
And just making sure I didn't miss anyone.
Yeah, he wants Jill to have a wonderful day, but me and Scotty, forget it. Apparently, no.
I'm
No,
sure. I'm
Oh,
sure
scrap it.
we can take the scraps. The scraps of a beautiful day.
Yes, a terrific Tuesday.
And so anyway, they're going to find Pearson, who Corey claims is dead. So Donlin says, "Fine, show me his body," and off they go.
Yeah, this is where I have the gun, and you stay 10 paces ahead of me all the time.
Hmm. And
And if you fall
at one
down,
point,
I ain't helping you get back up. You're just
well,
on your own.
and as Corey is resting, he's
Yeah.
tying his shoes, and he very nearly picks up this giant rock.
Look at all them rocks. Good weapons, huh?
It could be, yeah. And that's what he was thinking.
Yeah.
But I guess he has a second thought about it because Colonel Donlin asks him to move on, and Corey abandons his thoughts of murder for now.
For now, yeah.
Yeah. Uh-oh, spoilers, Jill.
they continue. They continue on until they find Pearson, or at least until they find where Corey said he thought Pearson was. I swear this is where he was. He must have crawled away. And then Colonel Donlin's suspicious now. You said he was dead. Well, I must have been wrong. And Donlin says, "Did you do anything for him at all? Did you check him? Did you just steal his water and make a beeline back?" Yes, that's what he did. You know the answer. Donlin, why are you asking the question you know the answer to? And so the very last thing that Pearson does in life is to draw something in the sand as a message because he's seen something and he's trying to relay what he's seen because he cannot speak.
And it's a cool little puzzle too, little pictograph. And I was like, what is that?
Yeah.
X marks the spot.
Go get that shovel.
Yeah. It's like, he's found treasure. We're rich.
Space
We're
treasure.
Sorry.
No, the silly moments are good.
Oh no.
There,
Never leave your gun behind.
Yeah, that was a mistake, Mr. Donlin.
Colonel Donlin.
Well, two men can live maybe 5 days. One man can live 10. You'll forgive me. How is he going to forgive you if you kill him? Anyway, Colonel Donlin puts it all together. You killed Pearson, didn't you, Corey? You killed him. You're demented, Corey. You're out of your mind. You've already killed once. And now Corey's killed Colonel Donlin.
Shoots him in the belly with his machine gun.
And then
with his own
Corey's
gun.
like, yeah, Corey's like, your space command chain of command doesn't fit here. This is the jungle. Welcome to the jungle. We play fun and games.
Fun and games. That's the title of an Outer Limits episode.
Oh, is it?
Yes.
I was just trying to quote a hairband.
Yeah, the Outer Limits episode Fun and Games from the first season is their version of Frederick Brown's classic story Arena, which of course Gene L. Kuhn adapted for Star Trek.
Yeah, he did, and I think he did it completely
right.
He didn't even realize he was doing it. That's
it's like it's a good thing for that DeForest research, and their legal department too. I guess it's like, hey, wait a minute, this is a story by Frederick Brown. We need to get the rights to it.
Oh, I never noticed that before. He shot through the canteen.
Yep.
Yeah, and so all that water that he wanted.
Yeah, it's like, oh, they're just lying there in the sun. Oh.
Now you make tracks, Mr. Corey. You move out and up like some kind of ghostly billy club was tapping at your ankles and telling you that it was later than you think. You scrabble up rocks and hills and feel hot sand under your feet, and every now and then take a look over your shoulder at a giant sun suspended in a dead and motionless sky like an unblinking eye that probes at the back of your head. In a prolonged accusation, Mr. Corey, last remaining member of a doomed crew. Keep moving. Make tracks, Mr. Corey. Push up and push out. Because if you stop, maybe sanity will get you by the throat. Maybe realization. Wait, oh my God, what is Serling saying here? Maybe realizational.
Maybe realization will pry open your mind and the horror you left down in the sand will seep in. Yeah, Mr. Corey, yeah. You better keep moving. That's the order of the moment. Keep moving.
Which I was just waiting for him. You son of a bitch.
Yeah, it's like, good Nick.
Yeah, exactly. It's just, oh man, the narrator is just torturing him.
Yeah, Serling couldn't help himself.
Yeah. It's that Serling morality.
I never say that word realizational. Maybe realizational.
No, it's realization.
Oh, okay. Wherever I copied this quote, had it wrong.
Yeah, this is from my book, The Twilight Zone, Unlocking the Door to a Television Classic by Martin Grams Jr. He has the middle narration here.
Telephone poles. You were trying to draw telephone poles.
Yeah.
We never left Earth. That's why nobody tracked us. We never left Earth.
I've got a little more here from my book.
There's Reno. Yeah, sure. Go for it. But before you do, I'm going to read the title from the Longfellow poem gives away the twist ending if you knew beforehand how the verse goes. I shot an arrow into the air. It fell to earth. I know not where. For so swiftly it flew, the sight could not follow in its flight. Okay, go ahead.
Yeah, this is from the book. I already said that, The Twilight Zone, Unlocking the Door to a Television Classic. This was the first episode of the series produced that did not feature Rod Serling on the set during filming. Instead, on November 6th, 1959, Serling sent a telegram addressed to Dewey Martin at MGM Studios, expressing his appreciation for the hard work they put into the production. And this is quoting Serling. May I impose upon your considerable talents to read just these few additional lines of dialogue to the various guys who are standing around you at this given moment. Because I'm I'm rather a sentimental little bastard. I dislike goodbyes, farewells, au revoirs of any kind, but I couldn't let this last day of shooting go by without expressing to all of you how much I appreciate your talent, your concern, your contribution to the Twilight Zone. I have never before seen a group of people work so hard and so loyally to assure the success of a venture as you people have on this series. I hope this first 26 is only the beginning of many more to come, and when next I walk on the set, I'll see the very same faces I've been accustomed to over the past 26 weeks. Thank you all. God bless you. God bless you all, and every good luck and good fortune to all of you.
Oh, well, that's really appreciative.
Yeah, it's interesting. There's also another little tidbit that caught my eye. When this episode was rerun on June 23rd, 1961, it prompted Gary Kunzenberger, in charge of advertising and promotion of KRNT TV in Des Moines, Iowa, to request Serling send him a print of this episode for use by the Central Presbyterian Church. And of
To
course,
what end?
well, it doesn't explain that,
Huh.
but probably, a moral lesson. But Serling was forced to forward the request to Guy Della Capia of CBS to handle the request, because the network by that time established a policy of not providing prints for people due to the many number of requests received and few copies of the film available. But KRNT TV in Des Moines is now KCCI, thanks to Tricky Dick, President Nixon. But yeah, it just up because that's in Iowa, and I watched KRNT TV growing up. I just thought that was interesting. That it's like, oh, that's the TV station I know.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. But now
Could you read the closing narration?
Oh, okay. Practical joke perpetrated. Let me start over again. Practical joke perpetrated by Mother Nature and a combination of improbable events. Practical joke wearing the trappings of nightmare, of terror, of desperation. Small human drama played out in a desert 97 miles from Reno, Nevada, USA, continent of North America, the Earth, and, of course, the Twilight Zone.
Perfect. Thank you.
Well, yeah, I got stuck on that one word, Jill. Perpetuated.
Well, no, I made my own mistakes, so that's not a problem.
Directed by Stuart Rosenberg.
Yes. And I want to say hello to File 13. He's joined us.
Hello.
And Brogu likes my reference to Guns N' Roses. That just came to me. That was inspired.
No, the one you had before, the number 13, whatever that was, that
File 13.
File 13. I think he's referring to the last Twilight Zone episode, the Bewitching Pool.
Oh.
I think. I don't know. That's the only.
That's your favorite episode, the last episode?
No, it's File 13. It says, yes, Bewitched Pool, but Bewitching Pool is the last episode of Twilight Zone. I'm not sure what the conversation in the chat is referring to. I mean,
well, he says there was an episode of kids swimming in the pool going to a different world.
Yes,
that's Twilight Zone.
That's Twilight Zone. Earl Habner of the Waltons fame wrote that episode.
And the reason why I asked if it was his favorite episode is because he says that he says
it's the Bewitching Pool. Yes, and it has the actress that was in To Kill a Mockingbird.
Thanks.
That played Scout.
Yeah, that's always good advice.
Yeah, Google it.
You Google it.
Yeah, it's like Google is your friend.
Oh, anytime somebody says that, I have to play. Chekhov.
Oh,
Where is it?
where's the checkoff button?
What I do not know, I find out from the computer banks.
Indeed.
So let's move on to the Hitch-Hiker as soon as we get through the credits here.
And don't forget, if you're here, to hit the like and the subscribe, share if you wish. And there is a poll in the YouTube chat if you'd like to vote on which of these 2 episodes are your favorite.
Yes, because we like to look at 2 episodes per show. So that was our first one. And we're moving on to the next one, The Hitch-Hiker. Original broadcast date, January 22nd, 1960. The story by credit goes to Lucille Fletcher, and the teleplay was by Rod Serling. This one was directed by Alvin Gainzer. And we got some stock music. Guest stars, we have Inger Stevens playing the lead character, Nan Adams. Leonard Strong playing the Hitch-Hiker. Adam Williams plays the sailor. Lou Gallo plays the mechanic. And the highway flagman is played by Dwight Townsend. And Russ Bender plays the counterman. The waitress is played by Mitzi McCall. And the gas station man is played by George Mitchell, while Mrs. Whitney's voice is played by Eleanor Audley.
Now, the one thing about Mitzi playing the waitress, there was a scene with the waitress filmed, but that was cut out. But she's still given credit.
Yeah, well, by Scott Zickrey. She's not really given credit in this episode because she doesn't appear.
Pardon me. Yeah, from the book. Yeah, pardon me. She's not on screen credited, but this is.
I was confused by that. I was like, "What waitress?"
This is a famous radio play, as you mentioned, by Lucille Fletcher, and I put a link to that in the chat. There's a YouTuber that there's a few of them that have the original, or it's not the original, but one of the it's not a rerun, but a production, a repeat performance of that radio play featuring Orson Welles. And he instead of Nan Adams, and as in this episode, of course, Serling switched the gender for the main character, but in the original radio drama, it's Randall Adams.
Huh.
Yes, this was the first and only radio play to be made into a Twilight Zone episode.
Yeah, and it's interesting that when they tried to buy the rights to adapt it, Lucille Fletcher, rejected their first offer, and they found out that the producers of the Alfred Hitchcock show had offered Lucille Fletcher $2,000 so they could adapt it a few years earlier. And she rejected that offer, but that's what they paid to do the Twilight Zone adaptation, $2,000. But Lucille Fletcher got for reruns, it was the standard Writers Guild of America kind of contract where she got a further payment of $1,100.
See, it's interesting that Alfred Hitchcock offered for the story, because I was getting some severe Vivian Leigh from Psycho vibes from a woman running away from Manhattan,
Janet
driving
Leigh.
by herself. Sorry,
Janet Leigh.
Oh, not Janet Leigh, not Vivian.
Yeah, Vivian Leigh played Scarlett O'Hara.
So many Lees.
Yeah.
And given her name as Nan, it was it kind of disturbed Serling's daughter because her name was Anne, but her family nickname was Nan, and she says that one always bothered me. Says Anne. I thought, why did he have to use that name?
Yeah. It's that reminds me of when I first had cable. I had my VCR recording Twilight Zone from a Minneapolis station that was being carried on our local cable package that was offered. And that was the Hitch-Hiker was one of the episodes that I kept because it was one of my favorites. And I was showing a number of the Twilight Zone episodes to my older sister who was up visiting. And I showed her that one, but the next day she had to travel back to Iowa City. And she was like, "Why did you show me that one?" It's,
Oh, right, because she's just going on a road trip.
yeah,
and
she's going
that is
150,
met. Yeah, what
150
is?
miles. And it's like, I wasn't even thinking. I was just saying, these are my favorites.
Oh,
I showed, that was one of
oh.
the 5 or 6 that I showed. And she was like, "Why did you show that one?" It's like, "Oh, sorry."
No, and now you know that that's all she thought about for that entire drive.
Going my way. Oh, spoilers. No.
Yeah. Wow. Hitchhikers
Well,
say
speaking
that.
of spoilers, can you read? Can Scotty read the opening narration?
Yeah, for sure. Her name is Nan Adams. She's 27 years old. Her occupation? Buyer at a New York department store. At present, on vacation, driving cross-country to Los Angeles, California from Manhattan.
And right in the middle of the narration, there's a helpful man who is helping her with a blowout. Her tire blew out, and she's getting some help from this guy.
How fast was she going?
But she was going
about
65 miles an
Yeah,
hour.
65.
Lady,
And
you're on the side of angels. By rights, you shouldn't have called for a mechanic. Somebody should have called for a hearse. If that's ever foreshadowing.
yeah, that's the first little thing of Serling foreshadowing.
And then
And then he has another one a little later. But yeah, this mechanic is putting her spare on, and then Nan's going to follow him to the actual garage gas station so he can give her a whole new tire.
before he gives her anything, Scotty, could you finish the opening narration? This is the first opening narration where it's like, oh, wait a minute, we gotta insert something in there, and then now you can finish it.
A minor incident on Highway 11 in Pennsylvania. Yeah, that's Pennsylvania. Sure. Anyway, sorry. A minor incident on Highway 11 in Pennsylvania, perhaps to be filed away under accidents you walk away from. But from this moment on, Nan Adams' companion on a trip to California will be terror. Her route, fear. Her destination, quite unknown. No, I love it. I love it. It reminded me in Austin Powers where they're driving and it's like, oh, I love driving in the English countryside, which looks nothing like Southern California.
Well, yeah, you can also apply that to the Orville where, yeah, we're on an alien planet that just happens to look like California.
Yeah.
So,
this scene was filmed in Enchanto Turnoff Chevron service station in Agoura, California. The service station was closed to the public during filming, which began at 11 a.m. And the manager of the service station received $100 to accommodate for the temporary inconvenience and loss of revenue for the lack of customers.
Wow, $100 covers it, huh? I guess so.
Well, in 1959, $100.
Yeah,
exactly.
that makes sense. That's $1,000 now.
Yeah, it's probably like 11 cars getting filled up.
So she gets her car worked on and fixed, and it costs only $19. And then there's some more things that you watch this episode a second time and you realize, hey, look at this dialogue, cheaper than a funeral.
Yep, that's the second one. It's like, okay, Rod, we get it. Oh, sorry.
Now we get it.
Yeah, this whole sequence at the gas station and that dialogue is not in the original radio drama.
Well, and that's the weird thing about this is that does that mean that everyone, can we spoil it? Because I have questions about this episode.
Yeah. So
It's
basically,
from
We,
1960.
we've already spoiled it like 3 times. If
All right.
and my general audience is really intelligent and knows what's going on.
You said
So,
1960. It's 1959.
I know. I thought this was.
No, this is 1959. It was aired in January of 60, but it was actually
that's what I'm
filmed.
saying.
It was filmed in July of 59. But if you're talking about when it was aired,
Yeah.
you're correct. It was January 1960. And for some reason, they were originally going to air this in December, but for some reason, it was delayed until January. And the writer of this book that I have doesn't have any specifics on the reason behind that schedule change.
And if we're spoiling it already, then we see this hitchhiker. We've seen him several times already.
Yeah.
So we get to see another version of death, and so that's what's happening here.
Or an angel.
And then
or an
angel of death. Yeah, because the mechanic talked about Nan being on the side of the angel. It's kind of, well, maybe this is, that's a good point, Scotty. But Scotty, to answer your question, not only is Nan a ghost, her car is a ghost car.
Right.
Right, because you're right, because that little, oh, my tire's flat, can you fix my tire? No, it the whole dang car flipped over, so that car is not going to be in that condition.
Yeah, so that's what I don't understand, is that, so is everyone that she's talking to, are they dead?
No.
Like, there's usually a logic to a ghost story where, if you're interacting with people, or if you're a ghost, it's like, hey, can you help me with this? And then the people sort of ignore you. It's like, I'm talking to you. Why won't you listen? And then you find out later, like other ghost stories. But that's where I was sort of, when it said at the end,
this is
like, all right.
Yeah, it's a trickaroo in the radio drama. He interacts with other people along the way.
Right.
But there's no stop at a service station. It's all narrated, and then he will interact with like a person at the diner, and the scene at the later gas station. That's also in the radio drama. Picking up a hitchhiker. In this adaptation, it's a sailor. In the radio drama, he just picks up a woman. But it's the same kind of. It plays out the same way. It's definitely a cheat, a switcheroo, but it's still pretty cool. I think I really like it.
And I think it's what's happening is that while she is a ghost, somehow she's still corporeal, and people can still see her, but maybe they can't know who she is, or like she's like an empty entity, like, oh, I see you and you look normal, but I don't know who you are. And that's how I see it, in terms of how she's able to interact with the world still, because she hasn't accepted what she is, so she can't pass over completely yet.
Right. That's exactly that's how I look at it, and I still I really like this episode a lot.
I do too. It's kind of like a nightmare where well, have you ever been in a dream where you're trying to go somewhere, but no matter how long the dream is, you can't quite get there? Or I don't know, or you have somebody scary, following you around, and that's this episode. This episode is kind of, it's a ghost story, but it's also a nightmare.
It's based on experience that Lucille Fletcher actually had traveling from Manhattan to California with her then husband, Bernard Herrmann, who does the music not only for this episode, but he did the original music for all the radio presentations of the radio play, The Hitch-Hiker. And he does use some of the same themes as the presentation that I linked to, which was a repeat performance from the summer of 1946. And that's where a lot of the music that Bernard Herrmann provided for this episode of the Twilight Zone, it's lifted from his original compositions for that repeat performance from 46.
Nice. Jill,
But
DJ Knight is being quite adamant that you understand that it is very dangerous for hitchhiking. You don't hitchhike, Jill. DJ Knight says again in the chat, Jill, hitchhiking is very dangerous for people. I don't know if that's a reference to anything, but you've been saying it, DJ, and I wanted to make sure that everyone was very aware.
Yeah, I didn't finish, but I got sidetracked a little bit. Lucille Fletcher and her husband, they're traveling, and she saw.
I wanted to respond to Scotty. He just said DJ Knight. Yes, this is everybody's public service announcement. Hitchhiking is not advised. Call a taxi or an Uber or get on a bus. Have money. Okay, I'm sorry, Stone Racket. Go ahead.
Yeah, Lucille based this drama on a real life experience where she's traveling with her husband cross country, and she sees the same man, 2 different times. It's like, wait a minute, how did he get from point A, going across the Brooklyn Bridge, and then she later sees him in let's see, where was that? Several miles down the road. It's kind of like, wait a minute, that's the same guy. And it worked on her imagination, and she came up with this famous radio drama.
Yeah.
But speaking of Lucille Fletcher, she was not happy with how Serling adapted it. She did not like the fact that they changed the gender of the main character. And I'm of the opposite opinion of that. I think Inger Stevens is incredible in this episode. It's one of her, if not her best, one of her very best performances, and she's just fantastic.
Oh, charismatic as all get out.
Yeah.
The thing, and I think it adds to a certain level of foreboding, but also turning the tables. Like there is a point when she picks up the sailor, and it's like, you know what? And it's like, no, I'm going to go because you're crazy. You're trying to kill people with your car. Like, and
I don't care how hot you are.
Yeah. But that's the thing. And I like that is that she's even like, you know what? I like you. I mean, I really like you. I'll take you to San Diego and you can take me out. It's just like, I don't care. Please just stay with me. I will sleep with you if you stay with me. And I think it adds to the desperation in the character. I don't think it would have worked if it was if it was the other way around, because it's kind of creepy for the dude driving to be like, I really like you. It's like, I shouldn't have gotten this car.
That just scares that would have the opposite effect.
Yeah, you'll have it's different in the radio drama with Orson Welles. He does try to the female hitchhiker. He tries to, but it's not in that same way. Like, I really like you. I want to date you. Nothing like that, like in this episode. But Lucille Fletcher did acknowledge that Inger Stevens' performance was stellar, but she still was not happy with the change, unfortunately.
That is unfortunate, because I think it adds a vulnerability.
Yeah, and Inger Stevens is so good. It's just a great performance. And another thing I liked about this episode, unlike a lot of the TV, even movies, is that's Inger Stevens driving the car for real. There's no back projection BS. She's really driving the car, and they filmed inside the car, outside the car. It's just, I loved all that. It was great. The only time they shot in a studio was, of course, when she's driving the sailor, and it's at night. That was shot in the studio, but you can't tell.
Right, because night.
Yeah.
Well, and anyway, we're at the railway before we get to the sailor, so I've got to talk about the train.
Yeah.
She's at a railway crossing, and she has to let the train pass, but she sees a hitchhiker again, so that makes her panic and try to cross the tracks to get away from him, but she gets stuck. So this was a really tense and scary moment. Like, she was like, why don't you get out of the car? Oh my God. And because at this point I didn't realize, the twist at the end. And so it was a scary thing there. It
Yeah,
was well done.
they had to wait. Of course, they go, well, we know a train comes by, this time of day and this time of day. So they had to literally wait for that train to film it. And at first they had the camera on the track and then on another set of tracks, a train went by when they were setting up the camera on the other set of tracks. And it comes whizzing by and they go, yeah, let's rethink this. So they set the camera on the side of the tracks.
So the cameramen that day decided they don't want to die.
Yeah, it's like, yeah, we don't want to get, don't want to risk this because those trains are really going by fast.
Yeah.
A lot of power behind there. Smash you up real good.
Oh, and there's lots of good inward dialogue that Nan Adams has, like this one.
Yeah.
Now the fear is no longer vague. The terror isn't formless. It has a form. He was beckoning me, that thin gray man in the cheap, shabby suit. He was beckoning me. He wanted me to start to cross. He wanted me to die. I know that now. I don't know what to do now. I don't know if I should turn around and go back to New York or go on ahead. Stabbing little thoughts gouge my brain, ugly, frightened thoughts, projections of tomorrow and the next day, driving through plains, driving through the desert unspeakably, nightmarishly, alone.
Yeah.
All I know, and I know I'll see him at detours, at railroad crossings. They'll be looking at me at stoplights. I don't know what to do now. And so yeah, she says that a few more times. She's really distraught.
Yeah, it's just really well done. You see so much in her face. And I just have a little bit about Inger Stevens from my book. Inger Stevens was formerly under contract with Paramount Studios, but was put under suspension shortly before this episode went into production. She had refused to accept roles of, quote, artistic mediocrity, unquote, insisting that theatrical performers had the right and obligation to stand up for their personal and artistic convictions. Unable to appear in motion pictures, she accepted a number of roles in television programs that suited her fancy. And this is from Inger back then. I want to be happy in my work, she explained. By making yourself happy through dramatic achievement, I believe you can make other people happy.
Well, she certainly did.
Yeah, this is her first of two performances for Twilight Zone.
Well, and did you want to discuss her tragedy?
Well, it's interesting, Scotty, that this episode was filmed in July of 59, but in January of 59, Inger Stevens tried to take her own life with barbiturates.
And she succeeded.
No. In January of 59, the first attempt. But yeah, she did self-delete. I think it was in the early 70s.
She was only 35 years old.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And it's interesting. It's interesting. She's the only actress that told Clint Eastwood to not drink his milk so fast. In the picnic scene in the movie Hang 'em High from 1968.
I love Hang 'em High.
Yeah, she's like, don't drink your milk too fast. And that just stuck in my head. I'm like, Inger Stevens could get away with that for sure. Telling tough guy, Western hero, Clint Eastwood to not drink his milk so fast.
Was she afraid he was going to squirt it through his nose?
Well, basically, he's still recovering from injuries. I'll just put it that way. And she's kind of helping him convalesce. And she's just making sure that he doesn't, anyway.
Okay.
You'll have to watch the movie.
I will. It's on my list. I have Hang 'em High, but I haven't seen it before.
It's on Tubi if you want to watch it for free.
I got the DVD.
Oh, cool. Okay, there you go.
Yeah. Yay, DVD. Physical media.
Physical media. Yay.
Well,
yeah, I need to get this on Blu-ray because I I will admit it. I have a thing for Inger Stevens.
I like her too.
She's
She's
awesome.
in this part of the story. She's on that never-ending drive. Stop for
Yeah.
food and then drive. Stop for food and then drive. Stop for food.
Yeah.
And then she runs out of gasoline. Like she's driving so much, but it doesn't even feel like a highway anymore. It's an escape trap. So she's still trying to escape the hitchhiker.
Well, doesn't she say that she takes a back road to try and avoid?
Yes, that's correct, Scotty.
The side road, yeah.
Yeah. And that's where she runs out of gas. And it's like, oh man. Now she has to walk, a quarter mile to this next place. And it's like, oh dear.
And he's
One
not very
brave woman.
nice.
Yeah, he's not. It's just this guy is like, look at you. There's a woman that's in desperate need. You get off your fat duff and you help her. Doggone it.
Right? No, but that's not what he wants to do. He's like, I'm
Yeah.
sleepy. I'm going to bed.
Yeah,
And-
it's like,
and
oh,
shuts-
for
shuts
crying
her
out
up.
loud. But fortunately, Sailor Man comes by.
Yeah, Sailor Man helps.
Yeah.
He's
Come on, you got some customers out here.
But ironically, he's also a hitchhiker.
Yeah, that's where I thought
Yeah.
that this episode, the story was going to turn, and it was going to be like the hitchhiker that you've been avoiding, the one that you're scared of, isn't the bad guy. I thought this guy was going to end up being like the bad guy.
I thought so too. I had that same exact thought, Scotty, because I hadn't seen this one yet.
And it's interesting. This particular actor. You go ahead. I'm going to look something up in my book. It just reminded me of something.
Okay. Well, she sees the hitchhiker again, but the sailor doesn't see him. And you guys described this earlier anyway. Nan admits she tried to run over the hitchhiker. The sailor couldn't see, and this is what scares him off. He's like, okay, yeah, you're really hot, but I gotta go now. I'll see you later. Bye.
What's the old adage? Don't stick your dick in crazy.
Yeah,
Or ghosts.
The one thing I liked what Serling wrote is that he has a sailor say, these guys, back at the base won't believe me. I'm getting a lift from a woman that looks like a movie star, and I'm like, she is a movie star, but yeah, it was kind of didn't you guys think it was kind of creepy? He just kept staring at her. He just kept
a
little bit. It's kind of like. And it made me uncomfortable the first time I watched. I'm going, boy, is this guy a nut?
Is he a bikini toucher? An unwanted bikini toucher?
Well,
that's what I thought was going to happen.
He might be, but we never find out because he decides that she's more of a nut than he is, and he's got to leave.
Yeah, he wants to get to San Diego in one piece.
But you're right. He does start off that way. He takes off his shoes, he gets himself more comfortable, and then when he's ready to leave the car, he's like, "Oh wait, okay, I need my shoes back."
Yeah, he was so willing to go that he jumped out in sock feet, and he's like, "Oh right, my shoes, I forgot." But you can go on, lady. Your vehicular homicide disturbs me.
You don't need a boyfriend, just a good night's sleep.
Good night's sleep. Yeah. Adam Williams is the actor that played the sailor, and he actually was a World War II vet, but I can't find the reference here in my book.
I believe you.
Yeah, because I think he wasn't in the Navy. I think he was in the Air Force, if I remember right, but I can't find the reference here. But he was actually a war vet.
Oh, that's good. And so she's lost her sailor.
Hello, sailor. Oh, sorry. Yeah, if she only hadn't tried to run that scary guy down.
that only she could see.
Yeah. But this is also in the radio drama where it's the same situation where he's trying to run the guy down because it's just he can't take it anymore. But unfortunately, he's got a passenger that's going, I got to get out of here.
Yeah, exactly. Oh, DJ Play Nice is here, and he says something very important that we need to know.
The Golden Man!
You must be mistaken, sir. The gentleman and I have never met. Whee!
So I assume he's saying wee. Hello?
Hello? Okay. Hello. Gavin Blackburn says Eric's is going to get her.
Oh,
No,
no.
Eric's is here to protect everyone.
Yeah, everybody. Yeah.
And also, Gavin was thinking the same thing you were thinking, Stone Racket, with that one.
Yeah.
And then, you can't trust landlubbers, me hearties. Okay. And hello. Hey, hi, John Burns. It's so lovely to see you. Sigvaldson says, suspect most actors were war vets in that period of time. Or, well, that one certainly was. Good afternoon. John Wayne wasn't a vet. Yeah.
Really?
But I guess that's something you can do, is delineate that. But now Nan is gonna try to call her mom. She needs to hear a comforting voice. She needs to hear a familiar sound. And then she finds out that her mom's having a nervous breakdown because she's dealing with the death of her daughter. Wait a minute, I'm her only daughter. But whoa, oh man. Yeah,
Well,
that is where I had that same thought you had, Scotty, is wow, if she's dead, how's everybody seeing her? But that's just the nature, I guess, of ghosts in this story, that you can see them if they haven't accepted their death.
Yes, and that's like with these two episodes, I think that both instances are waiting for it to end so that you get okay, so what's going on? Just tell me what's going on. And while I think the first one was more surprising, because as Stone Racket mentioned, like at the beginning of this one, it's like, oh, you should have died. You needed a hearse. You're with the angels. And then the mystery of the hitchhiker, I was like, oh, she's probably dead. And then when you find out that she's dead, it's like, okay, now I have questions as to all of the interactions that have happened. Like, was the sailor even real? Or, yes. But how? That means that this sailor traveled in the ghost car.
Yeah, the ghost car is she like the ghost car is still tangible, can interact
like Large Marge from Pee-wee's Big Adventure
with humans, and it's like Jill was getting at earlier, and it's until she accepts what's going on, then she'll begin to, fade away, if you to the next dimension. And yeah. her the person that'll be guiding her will be this mysterious hitchhiker. And yeah. So it's you have to go along with the fantasy. Like I said, it's kind of a cheat because it doesn't really make sense.
Right.
Especially the opening with the mechanic,
yes,
which is not in the radio play. It's just Orson Welles traveling, narrating as he travels in the car, and seeing the and then later he does interact with people, but the opening of this episode, this particular teleplay by Rod Serling, it really makes you go, once you learn the twist, you're like, well, wait a minute. If she overturned her car, what the heck's going on with the mechanic? And it's like,
Well, and that's what I mean
Right?
is that the performance of our lead actress is fantastic. She's cute as a button, and she's really building the tension. And I like the gray man, but it's like when any of the logical progressions of the story happen, I'm like, so
It's like
what?
if you want to look at a certain way, you know, the overturned car and her corpse are on a different plane of existence temporarily, and so is she, and she can still interact with people in this space time continuum for the
Okay,
sake of
wow.
the story. But you're just going to have to hand
You're just gonna
wave,
have to
or
buy it.
you're just going to have to buy it.
Right.
And for some reason I don't have a problem with it. But you're
Oh,
right. You're right. You can go a little crazy going, wait a minute, this doesn't make sense. What the heck? You know,
I'm the biggest fan of suspension of disbelief for the sake of the story, and I'm okay with it. But in terms of internal consistency, I'm just like, okay, so nothing about this story really matters except for a woman who died and is unwilling to acknowledge her own death. That's what the story is about.
Would
But if you
it
try and Joe?
would it have helped if next to her there was, some other accident we don't really see, and there's paramedics and an ambulance, and you're just like, oh well, luckily I didn't have to deal with that. I'm okay. I just blew out my tire.
That would have been
I think that would have helped, Joe. I think you're correct.
And Gavin says in the chat, it's like, or what if everybody she's interacting with are dead? Which is, that's a possibility as well. If this is sort of limbo on her way and unwilling to acknowledge.
But why would the sailor talk about, hey, I got to get out of here. I want to get to my base in one piece.
What if they're all lost souls? What if they're all lost souls?
Oh, that's another way of looking at it. And the car is a lost soul.
Well, the car is connected to her death, so I can understand her carrying it along with her in the afterlife.
I'm just being silly. Yeah.
But
if that's true, Scotty, then the one person that has to be real is the lady that responds in lieu of her mother to say that her mom has
Mrs. Whitney
breakdown.
Yeah.
Well, and that's what I mean is that I do think that this has given me, now that I'm thinking about it and trying to piece it together logically, this is giving me Large Marge from Pee-wee's Big Adventure vibes. It's just, it is a ghost car. Pee-wee did travel in the ghost truck with Large Marge. Right. I don't question that. So
I liked how the director cuts to the other phone ringing and we see a woman pick it up. And so it's like, that really anchors the reality of that moment. I thought that was interesting. Instead of just keeping the camera on Inger Stevens by the phone, and just hearing the voice, it actually cuts to someone answering on the other end. I like that.
Well, and Jill, in terms of the opening, would it have been more satisfying if Nan had driven past like a car wreck and been like, oh no,
right, like basically
that's what I just said.
Basically, that's what Jill just said. But to be really specific, what if Nan's actual accident did involve another car, and she only sees the other car, and that's all we see in the opening? We can kind of think of it that way, that there it is not just a one car accident, but actually a two car.
But that sparks my imagination, Stone Racket, because now I'm thinking, what if you wrote a story and it was like you drive past a car wreck, two cars in a collision, and you drive past and you're like, oh, I hope no one got hurt. And then you have another car sort of chasing you, like Duel.
Yeah.
And it's like, why is this person trying to kill me? And it's like, because you killed him.
So it's like, it's instead of, like you said, Duel, it's Ghost Duel.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, and
there's what is it?
It's a story in the chat, or in the private chat. Another famous Lucille Fletcher radio.
I'm sorry. I put that in the private chat when I meant to put it in the YouTube chat, which I just did a little while ago. I have both.
Oh, okay, great.
Both radio dramas, links to original radio dramas, and another one by Lucille Fletcher. It's even more famous. Is Sorry Wrong Number, which features Agnes Moorehead, another Mercury Theater player, as Orson Welles was. But that's her most famous radio drama, Sorry Wrong Number. And then
so there's one more thing I want to read. Nan Adams says, "The fear has left me now. I'm numb. I have no feeling. It's as if someone had pulled out some kind of plug in me, and everything, emotion, feeling, fear, has drained out. And now I'm a cold shell. I'm conscious of things around me now. The vast night of Arizona, the stars that look down from the darkness ahead of me, stretch 1,000 miles of empty mesa. Mountains, prairies, desert, somewhere along them, he's waiting for me. Somewhere I'll find out who he is. I'll find out what he wants. But just now, for the first time, looking out at the night, I think I know." And he's in the car.
And then he's in the car. Unlike the original radio drama, it just ends with Orson Welles saying, "You know, I'll find out who I am and who he is," or something like that. And Orson Welles' character, Randall Adams, makes it to Gallup, a car park in Gallup, New Mexico, when he gets his realization.
Mm-hmm. Oh, and I would like who read the ending for the last one? I don't remember.
I read the ending. Scotty read the opening for this one. I can read the ending if you want.
Sure, but also the last line, the only line of the Hitch-Hiker, I put in the regular chat. I meant to put in the private chat.
I believe
everybody read it out loud at home.
I believe you're going my way. Isn't that what he? Yeah, I believe you're going my way. And they drive off, which is like, it's kind of like, okay, well, he'll be a backseat driver on her way to the afterlife, I guess.
Like a guy.
Antiderivative Jill, do you want to read your chat?
I believe you're going my way.
DJ Knight says yes. Jill, I am.
Did you want me to read the closing narration?
Please.
Nan Adams, age 27. She was driving to California to Los Angeles. She didn't make it. There was a detour through the Twilight Zone.
Westbound and down, loaded up and trucking. We gonna do what they say can't be done. We got a long way to go and a short time to get there. Anyway.
Yeah, I really like the production values on this episode and the fact that they really had Inger Stevens driving that car. I really enjoyed that.
Yeah, I didn't even consider that they really had her out on the road. That like, yep.
Yeah, it's great. You know, that's her driving. It's plain to see. And then they filmed, you know, when she's looking back, when she passes the hitchhiker, she's looking back, and it's really her in the car driving. And I just eat that kind of stuff up because it really bugs me when they go the cheap route and they just have people in a fake car in a studio with sloppy rear projection.
I love that effect, though.
I like it, though. It's kind of fun. Oh, the background keeps repeating.
But the one thing I was interesting, even in that this goes into the early 70s with Adam 12 and you know, other shows, they all had the crappy rear projection. But from 1968 on, the series Hawaii Five-0, whenever you saw someone in a car, they're really driving the car. If Danny gets in a helicopter, we see him get in the helicopter and we see the helicopter go up, and it's interior shots. He's actually up there with the pilot, and I just love that. It's like, gosh, you know, why didn't other productions of that same era start doing that?
Well, isn't it interesting how we've gone from that, like in terms of having things shot with rear projection, and it kind of like they did it in Dr. No. I know Tarantino even used it stylistically in Pulp Fiction, which I kind of appreciate. But you do notice it and you see it. But in these early productions, they do it because it was cost effective or what have you.
Oh, yeah.
And then we got to a point in the 1980s when you have stuff like the A-Team or Magnum PI, or as you said, Hawaii Five-0, and it goes and it's like, this is we're doing action. We're doing it live. F it, we're doing it live. And now we've gotten back to a point where it's green screen and CGI.
Yeah.
And it's like, can we pull the car out of the lot? And it's like, no. We can't afford gas. Let's digitize this.
That's why, with the original Hawaii Five-0 series, which ran from 68 to 1980, the revival series, in the 2000s, do they have them in a real car driving? No. It's green screen.
Right. Well, and that depends. Like, I think that's something that that people do pick up on and appreciate, is that when you do see things, or at least if you don't notice the special effect, like, I think that's the biggest thing, is if it looks fake. People said that about Furiosa. I didn't find it as such. There were parts that were like that, but I didn't find it being consistently crappy CGI throughout.
Yeah,
but
it was frustrating watching that first season of the revival series, because not only was it green screen or whatever, but it was purposely out of focus, and it just looked so. I'm so used to the original series with people, I thought it was rather ironic that they went with that fakery and they did it so badly.
Yeah, but again, like, sometimes I appreciate it when you're doing it stylistically. If you want that imagery, I appreciate it if it's going for a feel. But if it is just because this is what we can afford and it's not stylistically, then I would say, yeah, get your car out on the road.
Yeah.
No the poll.
Yeah, the poll.
The poll has appeared. And it's appeared because this is the part of the show where we reveal which episode we enjoyed more. And I'll have to say, I'm a big sucker for, I love space adventures. And so even though they didn't quite make it to space, or not for long anyway,
right.
I like the drama between the crew members, and even though one of the crew doesn't really act like they should even be an astronaut, it's because something went wrong during the crash. He got rattled, and even though it makes no sense that they wouldn't realize they're on Earth, I think it's a fun idea that they got that shaken up that they couldn't tell where they were. And so for me, I shot an arrow into the air.
And
you, Scotty?
Yeah, I'm going to say that even with my logical inconsistencies and poking holes in how does she talk to living people? All of these questions that I have for the Hitch-Hiker, I did prefer the Hitch-Hiker because I think that the tension was better handled for me to be not as surprised. Like, I was more surprised at the end of I shot an arrow in the air. But I like, why did Corey go insane? Because that's something that it's like, okay, so how did you get on the spaceship? Where were you going? There are so many things. And basically what it is, oh my gosh, I was wrong. It was Earth all along. And so it's just like, okay, so I waited 25 minutes to find out that they never left Earth. Okay, thank you. That was cute. That was great. But with this one, I was like, is she dead? I don't get it if she is, because how can she? And so there was confusion that was a revelation at the end. And then when the Hitch-Hiker gets in and says, going my way, it's like, oh, that's creepy. So I preferred it. I preferred the Hitch-Hiker. And also because of Inger Stevens. Like, I think that she was absolutely, she's a knockout. She's gonna have the people running for the fire escapes. She's so hot. So
the Hitch-Hiker was a lot easier to review because it was like, oh, and then the Hitch-Hiker shows up, and then she drives a little more, and then the Hitch-Hiker shows up. So I did like reviewing it. The Outcast critic says, just popping in to give you lovely people a like and Scotty a tickle and a belly rub.
Thank you. Who's a good boy? I'm a good boy.
That's what that sounds like. It's great to see you, Lance. I'm glad you're here.
Yes.
John Byrne says the hitchhiker reminds me of a man who starts driving from New York, and something strange happens. And as he keeps going across the U.S., he keeps seeing a hitchhiker, but no one else does. Yeah, it's the same story. You might have heard the Orson Welles radio play, John Burns. Is that possible?
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I also preferred the Hitchhiker, and to be a snobby film student, the terminology we used from what Scotty was describing is this story. It's inconsistent within its own diegesis.
Oh man.
And it's like, yeah, but I don't mind it. There's a lot of questions, but I like this episode a lot more than I shot an arrow into the air.
I shot an arrow.
I shot.
They're both
Where it
really
landed,
great.
I
So
don't know.
I haven't seen a Twilight Zone episode yet that I haven't liked.
Yeah.
Yeah. This one. Yeah.
The closest that I've come.
Oh, the old snobby film student trick.
Yeah.
Yeah.
The closest that I've come is it didn't live up to the hype, but I haven't not enjoyed a Twilight Zone episode.
Yeah, some of them. There's some really weak ones, but even the ones that I considered lesser zone episodes, there's always a performance or the way it's directed as well that kind of makes up for certain aspects. But like with the first episode we covered, I shot an arrow into the air. The performances are really great, and the location, once again, Death Valley, it's so stark and dangerous, and it's nice to see a real locale instead of just
really brave,
instead of fakery inside a studio. Oh, we're in the desert. No, you're in a studio and it's just a bunch of sand on the floor and a diorama that doesn't look too convincing.
Right. Yeah.
Styrofoam more.
I don't mind a good matte painting.
Oh yeah. Oh yeah.
Sure.
I agree. It's just the old school special effects and matte paintings on glass, just superb.
I'd like to say hello. I don't know if I said hello to the Comic Relief Crusader. Oh, wait a minute.
What?
It's a special day. Does everybody know?
Oh, right.
Happy birthday to the Comic Relief Crusader.
Are you going to find the button?
Happy birthday.
I need to find the button.
Oh, no, not Frosty.
The good one. Give him the good one.
Oh, not Frosty? Oh, I was going to do Frosty.
Oh, go ahead,
Okay.
Jill. Don't listen to the grumpy kitty.
Happy birthday!
Absolutely.
And then we have the other one.
Except, of course, happy birthday. Surely the best of times.
Delightful.
Yeah, I love that one because it's Kirk and Spock.
You know what? I just realized it's been a while since I've watched a Star Trek movie. And so I'm going to have to rectify that.
John Burns
I'm coming.
Of course you'd pick that one. John Burns says the Hitchhiker reminds me of a
you already read that.
Oh, right. I did already read it, but he's leaving. I wanted to find something to read. Okay, we read that one too. He says, I'm heading down for lunch. Have a good one, guys.
Cheers, John.
Yeah, you have
a good one,
great
John.
day too. So I'll play both.
And be careful going to lunch.
Yeah, don't hitchhike.
Don't hitchhike. Yeah.
Right. We learned today from DJ Knight that is dangerous. So
yes,
extremely dangerous.
Scotty wants to watch this movie.
What does God need with a starship?
Exactly.
But
he should watch.
Lance from the Outcast Creative suggest Scotty watch this movie instead.
Man, I don't know, like, because it's been more recent that I've seen Wrath of Khan, and this is the balance that a Star Trek fan has when it comes to the movies. Don't wear out the movie. You got to watch the ones that you haven't seen as frequently. Maybe I should go to Search for Spock, because I haven't seen Search for Spock in a long time.
Yeah, that's a good
idea.
That's a good plan.
I like this plan. I love Search for Spock.
Yeah, I like Search for Spock a lot. And you know who else does? Cosmo Kramer.
Yeah. Jerry will tell you that Wrath of Khan is the superior film, but I disagree. Yeah. Search for Spock, worth its own merit.
Yeah.
Matt G says one of the silliest lines in Star Trek ever, at least from the 735.
735. Yeah. But I
love it. You mean what does God need with a starship?
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah. Well, that keeps making me. It reminds me of Hal Lindsey has a book called New World Coming, and it's his interpretation of the Book of Revelation in the Bible, and he marvels at in the afterlife. Just think of the great computers we're going to have. And it's like God doesn't need a computer, and neither will we. What the heck are you talking about? That kind of technology will be beyond that in the afterlife. And it's like that. Just what makes me think of that. It's like God doesn't need a starship. He can go anywhere at any time. He's everywhere anyway. So this entity is a fraud. That's what it told me when I saw the movie. I'm going, wait a minute, what the heck? This thing is not the Almighty, as Dr. McCoy thought it was.
Yeah. I do like Booger saying Spock loved it too, because without it, he would have remained lost. And that's an argument that I've had about Search for Spock the entire time. And I don't know if I ripped this off from Shatner himself, but it was like, so what were we going to do? There are spoilers in the movie. It's the Search for Spock. What were we going to do after an hour and a half? Just look at the camera and say, oh, well, didn't find him.
The end.
And well, yeah, that is, and Star Trek Search for Spock was the movie we needed, and it still turned out to be really great. Actually, it's going to be I haven't posted my calendar picture today, but my calendar picture today is Commander Krug by Christopher Lloyd.
Oh, nice.
Yeah, right before he hears the self-destruct countdown.
Get out of there.
Yeah.
Oh, I have a video I need to upload.
Yeah. Are you going to do that one? You should do that.
I need to find it. I don't know where it is.
No, it's fine. We don't have to do this right now. We'll deal with technology later.
If I lost the video, I uploaded it on Facebook. So, but hopefully I can find the original cut somewhere.
Oh, John Burns says in the chat that he saw Search for Spock before he saw Wrath of Khan.
Yeah.
And didn't the what's the name of that YouTuber, Nerdporial?
Nerdporial Lifeform.
Yeah, didn't he? The same thing happened with him, right?
Oh, did it?
I think he saw Search for Spock before, or something like that. I just remember him talking about looking at the VHS boxes, and he learned that Spock dies by looking at the boxes of the movies, and he was like, what?
Yeah. But, I don't know. Yeah. I was young enough that it was still foggy, and I'm sure I saw Search for Spock before I saw Wrath of Khan.
Oh, there you go. Yeah, it was interesting going in, seeing Wrath of Khan and the rumors that Spock was going to die, and then of course they brilliantly had all of the crew die in the simulator, and I just went, oh, fake out. But that was brilliant. They did that because, yeah, he really does.
We should review it someday.
But the thing is, though, did he really die? Because his Katra was still in McCoy. So,
well, yeah, but that's also.
I'm sorry, I spaced out for a minute. What do you want us to review?
Star Trek II: The Wrath of Khan.
You did.
Again.
What? Was I there?
Yes.
Oh, okay.
You gave half of your life story during that live stream.
You know what? And I have like a bound script, it's like an official Paramount. And I did a live reading of this script once, and I broke down during Spock's death scene. Now I deleted the videos, so you'll never see them. But yeah, no, it's so fun.
Oh yeah, I remember you
that's
telling me about that, and
Scotty.
I scoured Phantasmagorium. I was like, I want to listen to this now, and I couldn't find it.
I should do it again. I should do it again.
Yeah, it is emotional.
Yeah,
and it just Nicholas Meyer and the actors, and it was just a very powerful and touching scene. It still gets me.
Yeah, but is it as good as Final Frontier? I don't think so.
Scotty, could you read this from Sig Balduson?
Sig Balduson in the chat says, the first time they blew up the Enterprise was meaningful. It brought tears to my eyes. Then TNG movie did it. I was not amused. The putting of rocks on Kirk's body was not amusing. And then wanting. Is there more? And then
more.
wanting.
I didn't realize there was more.
I don't know.
And then wanting.
I don't know if that's the end of the sentence.
Us to be happy.
To be happy, Spot lived. Toss me into the livid zone. Oh, yeah. When I first saw that movie, I didn't see. Did I see Generations in the theater? I must have. And when I first saw
Spot, I am very happy to see you, Spot.
I was such a backseat driver during that entire thing. And then he's like, fire torpedoes full spread. And it's like, that's one torpedo. And I get shushed in the theater. And it's like, I want to go back to Viridian 3. Why? Go somewhere else. So
you know all the reasons I hate this movie, and that was
I love it.
That was you saying all the things, all the reasons why I don't like it. You know why not to like it, and yet you love it. I don't understand you.
Well, it's the same thing to bring it back to the Hitch-Hiker. It's like there are a lot of logical inconsistencies, but that doesn't mean that the story isn't succeeding at what it's trying to do. And again, I've said it before and I'll say it again. Generations is about grief. So
yeah, Sig Balduson, I'm happy that Spot lived because, I'm a cat. I'm an orange tabby cat, just like Spot.
Yeah, but I think on a previous live stream, we realized that the fish didn't live.
I thought the fish was holographic.
What? Oh. No, it's not holographic. That's not canon. It's a real fish.
Huh,
I thought the lionfish died. No, it's not
dear.
Livingston? Not Livingston.
Yeah, Livingston's dead. I always forget his name anyway.
What? How can you do that? You're not a fan. Allow me to gatekeep.
Oh, okay. Fair enough. Picard should have gone back to 10 forward and punched Soren. Yeah. Right. Or you go back in time to that moment where they had him in custody. Like, oh yeah, okay, we already have him locked up.
No, you don't even he doesn't even have to go himself. He can leave the Nexus and hide out on the Enterprise D. Well, no, you have to make it so that it's a closed time loop, but you'd have to do something where Picard goes back to the Enterprise D, taps his comm badge, and says, Mr. Worf, Dr. Soren, make sure that you keep tabs on him and don't let him leave the ship. That's it. That's it. He doesn't even have to do anything. He doesn't have to interact with his other self. Nothing.
It works for me. Let's go fix it.
The
fish had been out. Hello?
Go ahead. Yeah, go ahead.
The fish had been out of the captain's room since Picard's replacement tossed that thing out of the captain's room. What?
Really? I'd have to go back and I don't want to rewatch. Oh, because when Jellicoe showed up, he was like, get that fish out of the ready room.
Oh, did he?
Oh.
Did he?
Okay.
Was the fish gone after that point?
Yeah, exactly. I don't know what happened to the fish after Chain of Command, so maybe I'm not a real fan. Damn it! I kept myself.
Well, I'm not a fan either, I guess, because I completely forgot about the fish and the name and all of that. So
We're posers.
we're posers. No, I'm not a big TNG fan. I do have the complete series on Blu-ray, but I haven't made my way through it again. There's some episodes that I haven't seen, but I have seen most of the episodes from each season.
You know what you got to watch?
Oh, what would that be?
Well, that would be Lutan and Lieutenant Yar, Code of Honor. No, Lieutenant Yar. No.
Oh, that
Oh.
the reason I that was on disc 1. The reason I watched disc 1 already is because there were some slight scratches on that particular disc, and so I put that in to make sure it played okay. And so I have seen that epic grade A episode, Code of Honor.
Oh,
It's one of
then
my
he can
favorites.
be on for the review because I think we're starting to review the bad episodes.
Yeah,
That's gonna happen
I
at
can't
some
wait.
point.
Can't wait.
Yeah, that is a big
To
embarrassment.
everyone's detriment. Yeah.
Yes, except
and then
mine.
and then the Naked Now, where Roddenberry talks to John D.F. Black. He goes, "I'm going to rip you off." It's like rip off his script, The Naked Time. It's like,
Okay, but
That you know what when
okay. The Livingston is
Yes.
in season 7. He turns into a what does he turn into? Devolved into a jellyfish.
oh God.
So Livingston is still there in season 7. This entire time.
Right, I forgot Riker was trying to eat him.
Oh dear.
I got it.
Well, meanwhile, back to Twilight Zone.
Oh, were we talking about the Twilight Zone? Oh, that's right. I am okay. Before we get any further into whatever tangent we fallen into, I'm going to give you the preview for next week's stories.
Has the poll ended yet, or are you still waiting?
Oh, let me see. The poll has 23 votes. We can end it. Yeah, that's good.
There we go.
Oh, Hitch-Hiker
wins.
Yeah.
Hitch-Hiker wins 60%.
I saw 61.
Well, it changed before you.
Oh, it changed before.
Well.
Oh, okay. Yeah,
99%. You can give the extra percent to Hitch-Hiker.
Yeah.
Yeah, we were doing that on the Cinema Gulf show, and we did a poll, and it only tabulated to 99%, and it was like, oh, all right.
Huh, interesting.
Who gets the other percent? Give it to Hitch-Hiker.
Me, I get it. It's mine, I tell you.
Why don't we split it, Scotty?
No, it's mine.
It's mine.
So next week's story. Species of machine known variously as slot machine or one-armed bandit. Ooh. And if you've ever played with one of these things for a while, you've probably gotten a peculiar feeling. This is a machine with a mind and will of its own. This is precisely what happens when Everett Sloan contacts a fatal ailment we call the fever. You'll be an eyewitness to it next week on The Twilight Zone. Also next week, this is the model of Newport, a fighter aircraft, vintage World War I. Next week, it's flown on a patrol over France in 1917, and its pilot discovers that time has passed him by. Kenneth Hay stars next week in Richard Matheson's exciting story of The Last Flight on The Twilight Zone. We hope you'll join us. And we didn't forget the poll. Hitch-Hiker wins. There we go. And that's what we have this week for The Twilight Zone. Where am I? Here. I want to copy this. Can you guys hear me?
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Just doing a little business here.
All
Oh,
right.
great. I love business.
Some Jill business.
The Jill business, yep.
Mm-hmm.
And now chat business.
So, Scotty, had you not seen either one of these episodes before?
No, this is first time.
First time, yeah.
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 Well, and thank you for connecting the dots to that Harry Belafonte movie, because like she is gorgeous. Inger Stevens is gorgeous, and it is tragic in terms of her end, and she's charismatic and she carries it. And it's interesting that when she did pass away, she was attempting to sort of revitalize her television career, which, as we discussed with Tiger Stripes a couple of weeks ago, I always thought that people were, they sort of turned their noses up at television, but it was fascinating to know that this woman was just like the diversity of characters that she would be able to play and would be able to inhabit. Like ultimately, that's what an actor's true dream is, to be able to stretch those acting muscles to try and inhabit different characters. And I find that fascinating about her. And she was taken far too young, 35.
I know.
Stars.
Yeah, that The World, the Flesh, and the Devil.
Yes.
I saw that at a fairly young age when it aired on network television, and that movie just it really stayed with me and made quite an impression on me as a child. And I'm glad that Warner Archive, they first put that out on DVD, but they do have it on Blu-ray. But that movie, it came out in '58, and where they want to go with it, but Hollywood just couldn't go that far.
Right.
But what they're trying to get at there. But it's got a kind of a cop-out ending, but Harry Belafonte, he's so cool in that movie. And we're so relieved when he gets out of that predicament that he is in the opening of the movie. But all the shots of New York City just being deserted is just incredible.
And it's always been a feat to try and get an abandoned Manhattan.
Yeah.
But Stone Racket, just going back to the original, the one, where does that 1% go? Gavin Blackburn gets it. Gus from Superman 3 gets the 1%.
Oh, yeah. Yeah. Wasn't it a fraction of a percent though that he kept? Yeah.
Oh, it was fraction of a penny. Fraction of a penny.
Yeah, that's right. And then of course he gets a fancy sport car, and of course there's
Robert Vaughn.
Yeah, Robert Vaughn. For some reason, I couldn't think of his name. I could think of his first name. Robert Vaughn's looking out the window, and as he's saying, well, whoever did this isn't going to be an idiot to give it away. But, and then here comes Gus in his fancy car.
I think it's probably my favorite Richard Pryor movie.
Anyway, yeah. The Comic Relief Crusader says original Twilight Zone is more fun than the newer stuff.
Oh yeah.
Oh yeah. I totally agree there.
I like the 80s stuff.
Even compared to the 80s series, I still prefer the original.
Well,
but I did like some of those episodes of the revival series from the mid 80s.
Well, and the 80s is just the same sort of sort of where are they, like in terms of every time there's an actor, like there is an actor that you recognize, and at least in the background or something. And that's why I really appreciate the original and the 80s one. And it's like, oh my God, is that Elliot Gould? It is. Heavens.
Now, if I say Paladin of the Lost Hour, do you both know what I'm referring to?
Haven't the slightest.
Oh, it's a great Harlan Ellison written episode of the revival series of Twilight Zone.
Oh, cool.
Yeah, it has Danny Kaye in it.
Ooh, Danny Kaye was alive in the 80s?
Yep.
Huh.
I will let me and then another thing I was thinking of, I'm going to look that up as well, but from memory, Inger Stevens was in a television series with William Wyndham, if I remember right, called
Yeah.
The Farmer's Daughter.
Yes.
Is that correct? Because I'm just going by memory.
No, that is correct. That is correct. I saw
excellent.
that. Yeah, because I was like, who the hell is Inger Stevens? And then I found out that she died when she was 35. And I was like, oh no, what happened? And then I found out.
Booger said, I thought Scotty was going to say that 3 was his favorite Superman movie, which would have been unfair to Quest for Peace.
Oh, come on. I like crap, but I don't like that much crap. No, the first one's my favorite Superman movie. I love the first Superman movie.
I've only ever seen the first one, so it's my favorite too.
Oh, we should review Superman 2 at some point.
Yeah. Scotty and Jill, Danny Kaye passed away in 1987, and the Twilight Zone episode he starred on, Paladin of the Lost Hour, was from 1985.
Huh.
And that was he did the Twilight Zone, that Twilight Zone episode. And then the last thing he did was an episode of The Cosby Show. He played a character called Dr. Burns.
Interesting.
Yeah.
Sigvaldison says the episode from the 80s, which talked about the government making all the kids take a test at a certain point to see how intelligent they are, killing those with high intelligence. Oh, I've seen that one.
Yeah,
that was a good one. That's
creepy.
That was messed up. It was very creepy.
Well, Jill, I know you don't like doing show notes in the middle of a live broadcast, but I was wondering, what was our plan for Friday?
That's not show notes. That's fact notes. We are going to review. Yeah, I usually do that when we're ready to leave, but we're going to have Roger Rabbit on Friday.
Oh, you're kidding. That's rad. Did I suggest that?
Rabbit.
It sounds like something I would do.
Yes, it was your request.
All right. I love it. See, this is why I have to ask if I was present for a lot of the reviews.
Because I was like, we're covering Stargate, and you were like, can we do Roger Rabbit next week? And I was like, yes.
Great. I'm looking forward to it. I can't wait.
Well, I
have the Blu-ray, and I got to see the audio commentary because there's got to be a commentary.
Yeah. I'm still stunned that for a family film, that they had that patty cake scene in it. I mean,
oh yeah.
Oh, so racy.
No, but Kathleen Turner does like orgasm voice.
She's how's that line go?
An exciting game.
She's like, I'm not bad. I'm just drawn that way, or something like that.
Yeah,
exactly. No, not something like that. That's exactly. Yeah. I'm not bad.
That's it. She got it. She said it better, but whatever. Oh no, that's great. That's fantastic.
Yes, I'm glad that that's news to you.
Yeah, exactly. That thing that I planned, I didn't know.
That's hilarious.
Yeah, no, it's not. It's actually signs of a problem, but whatever.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. That's also like, hey, stop drinking so much, dude.
It's all fun and game. Hey, I had a cold. I've been recovering from illness all weekend long. I'm still suffering.
I'm glad you're here, and I'm glad you were there for Hackers yesterday, even though you're a sick man.
I am a sick man, even when I'm healthy.
Yeah, true.
Did you have like a flu bug, Scotty, or?
Yeah. Like I started getting anyway. Yes, but it all instead of and then my face melted. But
oh, no.
Yeah, it was it was a terrible weekend. I don't think I'd slept so much in ages, and I'm still achy, but whatevs. I'll survive, much to the chagrin of my enemies.
Oh, good news. I like those enemies being chagrined.
I do enjoy their chagrinedness.
Well, okay, so one more thing for the Twilight Zone. Lance from the Outcast Creative wants to know where to watch them. I think Stone Racket was outraged when I said this last time, but archive.org. Archive.org, if you're still here, Lance. That's where you can watch them.
Watch what?
Twilight Zone.
Yeah, you can watch it on Pluto TV.
Oh,
you can watch it on Freevee. Now, I recommend Pluto TV because they actually show the previews with Rod Serling. for the next
Oh.
episode. So it's
What I would-
almost like watching it on the Blu-ray.
Well, and that's what I'm saying is that what I would recommend. Here's how I would watch. So what you're going to want to do is you're going to want to get like a 5-foot tall shelf with 5 shelves on it. Make sure it's deep enough to hold a DVD so that you can see the spine. All right. That's your first step. Second step, buy the Blu-ray box set of the Twilight Zone and put it like right in the middle. And that's where you start. So you're also going to need a Blu-ray player and a television. So this is getting expensive, I understand, but it's worth it. So then you're going to get a wall mount and you're going to hang the television on the wall. So what I'm saying is get the physical media because you never know when the streaming service is going to yank the rug from out from under you.
That's true.
This is also true. Yes. If you can afford it, get the Blu-ray.
Yeah,
and the shelving is important because you need to be able to put all the subsequent Blu-rays and DVDs and VHSs and, Nintendo 64 cartridges, all the things.
Scotty R37 wants you to be organized.
Yes. You don't want just piles on the floor.
Booger414 says, I still have a cold and I'm supposed to leave for vacation on Saturday. Oh, I hope it clears up by then.
Yeah,
absolutely.
I'm sure it'll clear up by then if you do the big snooze and get your vitamin C and fluids and eat plenty of chicken noodle soup.
Yeah. I've been on screwdrivers since Saturday.
That's a lot of vitamin C.
It is a lot of vitamin C. It's also, very Russian.
Gavin Black. Oh, yeah. What guy?
Colds can be near fatal, but not as fatal as hitchhiking.
Colds in males can be near fatal. Yes.
But not as fatal as hitchhiking, like Scotty said.
There you go. Or as DJ Knight said.
Right. It's dangerous.
Very
That's
dangerous.
what we learned today. That's the public service announcement. Dumb ways to die. I wonder if that's part of the song. I like that song. So anyway, that's all we have for today.
I think that's it. Yeah, I wish I could. If you want to hear more stories, I don't know. What do you want?
No, well, we don't want this to be too much of a short lived, but I think it went pretty well off the rails in a beautiful way. And now I think it's time for us to go. That's all for this time in the Twilight Zone. Thanks again to Scotty R37, to Stone Racket. Thank you so much for hanging out with me to talk about this, my first science fiction series that I ever saw. And I'm so happy that I am digging deep into it, and learning all about it, everything that I didn't know before. And it makes me happy. So thanks for being a part of that. And also thank you to the chat for being here today. Sigvaldison says, just for your information, title, Examination Day series, the new Twilight Zone, 1985 to 1989, air date November 10th, 1985.
Yeah.
Gavin Blackburn says, I want to stay.
Yeah, Charlie X.
Charlie X.
I want to stay.
But what if Lazarus?
Man. What if Lazarus? Oh, that's the only part. You actually do feel sorry for Charlie because he's like, I can't even touch them.
Yeah, it's a great ending. Great ending and a absolutely superb performance by Robert Walker Jr. I think it's the best thing he ever did. From what little I've seen of his performances, but
I don't know anything else he did.
He was in a couple of westerns.
Yeah, he was in a Columbo episode with that featured Robbie the Robot, but
but he had a beard. It threw me off.
But he that's one of the worst episodes.
Robbie the Robot had a beard?
No, Robert Walker Jr. He's referring to Robert Walker Jr. Though I don't remember that.
Toupee.
I don't think.
I know. I was joking.
Yeah, I don't think he. Yeah, I'm trying to. He just had long hair in that one. I don't think he didn't have a beard.
I thought I saw him in an episode of Dragnet.
What was that?
Oh,
was in
Robert
that
Walker
episode?
Jr.
Oh, an episode of
I
Dragnet?
thought. Yeah.
Oh, yeah, perhaps.
Yeah.
Yeah.
There were some decent episodes in the Twilight Zone revivals. Yeah, very good evening to the panel and the audience. May you all have a great rest of your day. Be safe out there. Oh yes, thank you.
No hitchhiking.
You too. And no hitchhiking.
Well, yeah, according to Brogu, the only person who's supposed to have a good day is Jill, and Stone Racket and I will live with Scorn.
That's not true.
I know.
Well, you know what?
No, it is. Brogu said, I think it was Brogu who said it specifically. He was like, you hit the nail on the head, Stone Racket. To hell with everyone else except Jill.
Oh, he actually agreed with it.
Oh, totes. He was great. I loved
That's funny.
Yeah.
And thank you so much, DJ Play Nice, for being here. Swift -1. John Burns. Let's see how many names you can name.
Oh, So I Married You an Axe Murderer is a very good movie. Thank you, John.
DJ Knight.
Yeah. So Michael Richards is in that movie. Interesting.
He is the insensitive man. Everyone point and stare at the insensitive man. Stop what you're doing.
And again, the Comic Relief Crusader. Happy birthday.
Oh yeah, happy birthday.
Yeah, happy birthday. He probably missed our happy birthday because he didn't say.
Well,
but I hope he has a happy birthday. He's too busy having a happy birthday, which is
exactly.
And Penny, thank you for being here, Penny. And I know also we had the Outcast Creative.
Yes.
That's Mr. Lance.
Why is he an outcast?
By his own choice.
Yes. He's finding a voice for all the other outcasts.
Oh, yes, indeed.
And Booger was here. And
Booger was here with a beer.
Oh, he had a beer? I didn't even
No,
see that.
I'm just no, that's just a rhyme. It's just
okay. Sometimes if Franco Walker's here, he has a beer because it's later in the day where he lives.
Guys, have we met?
Greek Letters Larson was here earlier. Oh, that's right. Well, I'm talking about the normal populace. Dark Hours. Right. I don't remember the last time I day drink. It might have been.
Well, then it was a good day drink.
I think I do it sometimes during the summer when the kids are home, but not often. All right. Patriarch of Apathy says, "Come in at the end, but never a disappointment. Hail all! I'm so glad you were here.
Well,
always
thank
a
you.
fab stream.
Cheers, Ted.
Why, thank you.
And so join us next time. I hope you do join us next time for the Twilight Zone. See y'all later. Have a great Tuesday. A terrific Tuesday.
Yes, indeed.
A Twilight Zone Tuesday.
Yeah.
And the ways our differences combine to create meaning and beauty.
It has always been easier to destroy than to create.
May we together become greater than the sum of both of us.
Well, now you have something new to think about. Carry on.
All right, move along. Done. Stop it. Get off of the things. Go outside. Get some food. It's like, it's a time of day where you live. Go do something. Shut up, Snoopy. I don't care. You smoke too much. Let's go. Let's go adventure. Let's go explore.